Here we are at McCoy Park, just about to take off. We've got a full battery. It's to 8,004 cells in series. So that's an 8008S pack that's 20C rated. Okay, so here we are flying. On the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that first line is the mode, then the channel, then the output power, which is 400 milliwatts. Now this is the lowest flying setting I could have, other than 25 milliwatts, I think. So the VTX it comes with goes up to 1600 milliwatts. And there's 4 settings you can have it on. The next one down is altitude. You can see it's about 11 or 12 meters at the moment. After that is the voltage per cell, then the percentage throttle, which is around 35%. Below that is the total pack voltage, 32.2 volts, and under that is the time since it was armed. In the centre of the screen, you've got the artificial horizon and crosshairs just up below that, and the writing beneath that is the aircraft type, which is just handy if you're looking back through old footage and you wonder in 2 years, 3 years time what aircraft was I actually flying there. So you can say, okay, yes, that was the Manta 13, named 13 because of its 13-inch props. That's 13 inches diameter and a surprising 12 inches of pitch, so it's fairly pitchy. So the number there, just below the volts per cell, is the percentage throttle. So you can see it's cruising around pretty happily at 30% throttle. It's moving along quite well at that. And the video picture is really quite nice. I mean, normally you're really dropping out here because you're starting to lose line of sight. This field is not great for video reception anyway, with those stomping big power lines there. So we got it up to about 40% throttle there. Started to shift along for a bit. Yeah, it's not a bad machine. The camera is quite good too. You can see that last run we did up the strip was nearly right into the sun, and I've flown FPV things where you turn the camera towards the sun and your whole screen goes black except for this glowing dot in the sky. But I mean, that's very acceptable. You can see quite nicely, pointing just about right into the sun there. There's a few little rainbows of chromatic aberration, which is the fault of the lens, I think. But all in all, it's a great picture. There's the odd little bit of static popping through there, but I mean, the thing we're flying towards now, you can see is a mobile telephone tower, and that's pumping out a heap of RF, a lot more than what we're transmitting flying this. Yeah, it's just a pretty nice setup, really. I can't complain too much about it. You see, we've been flying for about 3.5 minutes there, and we're still at 3.92, 3.93 volts per cell. I don't have a GPS in this, so we can't really tell the speed, but you can sort of see it's shifting along a bit. Got to be a little bit careful at this field when you're flying at the height of the power line, so that you don't just go barging through there, because that can end badly. Just duck down underneath them there a bit. I've cut a little bit of the footage out from here, and we're going to just do a bit of a run. You can see I've taken it up to about 40% throttle, and it's shifting along quite happily. I'm sure it'd go a lot harder, but I don't want to flog it too much. It's only the third flight I've had with it, I think, so we'll save a bit of ringing out for later on. This is being flown in acro mode. I've got stabilised mode set up on it, so if I lose video or something like that, I could just flick into stabilised mode and power up a little bit, hopefully get reception back. You can see we're quite a way out now. We're looking at the oval at McCoy Park, which is on the top end, so better turn around and come back. But no sign of problems with the video link. It's, well, you could only describe it as rock solid there. This is our weir that we're coming up to. This is probably the only bit of interesting architecture at McCoy Park. I thought I might show it off a little bit. It's designed to hold the water in the flood retention area for a little bit of time to stop a great flood from rushing through and submerging Winston Hills. Just passing the 8-minute mark here, and we can see the voltage is still pretty close to 3.8 volts per cell. It's flying just a little over 30% throttle, and we've been up for 8 minutes. I'm going to just put it down here for a moment because my goggles are fogging up slightly, so I'll give them a wipe and we'll take off again. It's not bad. I'm just going to be cautious. Here we have the statistics at the end of the flight. Interesting to note that the max current was only 40 amps. I wouldn't be trusting the used milliamp hours either. I think it's a bit more than 2045. Here we go, ready to take off again. The core temperature that's flashing there is the VTX. These things have a silly habit of not going back to the unarmed minimum limit when you land until you disarm and switch off the power. So that's why it's flashing at 70 Cs. It's saying your VTX is getting too hot. But it'll cool down in a moment. There's quite a bit of wind going past it, flying around. So I expect it won't take too long to cool down. Yeah, the thing flies okay. I had a test flight with it at work with a much smaller battery, and it seemed a bit more jittery, and with this bigger battery on it, it's got a fair bit more weight in it. It seems much more locked in, so quite happy with it really. Flies pretty damn nicely. You can see it's been armed for more than 10 minutes now. The timer is flashing. We're still at 3.73 volts under load, so we're not doing too bad, not at all. I think it would fly for 12 or 14 minutes quite happily, and I'm sure you could put 50% more battery on it as well if you wanted to, or 50% more weight of battery. Yeah, it would be quite a lot more battery if it were the same, or if it were 50% more weight and 1865 lithium ion cells, and that would probably get close to double the battery capacity. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential. It's certainly fun to fly. You feel the extra weight of it though. It's a bit of a beefy thing. The video system's pretty nice. The flight controller seems to work well. So far so good. We'll see how it hangs in there. None of the motors were particularly hot. The speed controller seemed fine after it landed. It was a reasonably breezy afternoon. Not super breezy, but there was a bit of wind about. It wasn't like it was dead smooth. It handled that okay. It's interesting, the pink lines in the video. I've never seen that quite like that before. It's a Cadex camera. The goggles where the recording was done are Sky Zone Cobra X. Pretty solid bit of kit.